All right, welcome back to Mind and Magic, where we demystify the occult and talk about all things esoteric. But today I want to talk a little bit about East Palestine, Ohio. That is where the train derailment of the toxic chemicals took place. And the ones responsible, in their infinite wisdom, decided to burn the chemical, sending up a gigantic mushroom cloud of toxic substances into the atmosphere and throughout the region. This is one of the worst environmental disasters that I can recall in a long time, and the news continues to come out of that area, out of East Palestine. That is not good. Wildlife keeps dying, fish and deer keep being found dead. The people there are suffering, they're experiencing weird symptoms, strange smells, tastes. One guy who had a deeper voice now sounds like Mickey Mouse in his own words.
It's just been like this ever since the train blew up. Lately, I sound like Mickey Mouse.
Yep.
But
He's got a deep, raspy voice normally.
Other than that, I just go and get tested and get checked out.
Well, what are they telling you?
My doctor says I most definitely have the chemicals in me.
None of the news coming out of there is good. And this is the kind of thing that it hurts my very soul. It really does. It really just hurts to know that the very earth has been poisoned to such an extent that it may last decades or more. It may even be permanent. The ground, the streams around there, the rainbow effect that oil or other chemicals will give off comes to the surface of the water. Those streams and creeks may be poisonous for quite some time. And they even lead to the Ohio River, which is not good news either. And, this kind of thing hits close to home because I lived near Coldwater Creek. And if you've heard of that, it's because that creek was poisoned as well by radioactive nuclear material. Long story short, they just buried it in a landfill, which then seeped into the water table and ended up in the creek, which is still radioactive, which they still haven't cleaned up, at least not completely. I've seen a story on the news just the other night because a school along the creek was testing positive for high amounts of radioactivity and contamination. And people who lived along and played in that creek are the ones coming down with a lot of different cancers. That entire area became a cancer cluster. Now, I played down around the creek when I was younger, but I did my best to stay out of the water, and I didn't go down there too often. It wasn't like it was right in my backyard. But a lot of people in my hometown have gotten really sick from it. And that's just one creek. East Palestine has had this stuff raining down on them from the controlled burn, which they should have just let be, and it'd be easier to clean up that way, instead of sending it throughout the entire region. What goes up comes back down. Those responsible for that controlled burn should be responsible for everything as a result of that controlled burn. But I don't want to digress too much because the people there are suffering and they could really use help. The federal government, the Biden administration, has been refusing to give Ohio help in aid. They were too busy sending more billions and billions of our dollars to Ukraine with their America Last policy. But you really can't count on government for anything, so it's up to us to help support each other. And so if you could help out with anything at all, it doesn't have to be much. There are a few crowdfundings going on for East Palestine. There's at least one at GoFundMe. There's Give, Send, Go. Just Google East Palestine fundraiser or crowdfunding, and you should find them real easy. I'm not running it, so I'm not advocating any specific one. Just find one you like and do what you can. Because if any people need it right now, it's them. Having what is essentially a colossal raid bug bomb going off in their backyard, where they and all the wildlife are the bugs. Most of these people cannot afford to move. And it's not like anybody's going to buy their property from them now, which means they're stuck. So we help each other where we can. I encourage all of you to give at least something. And when you give, you do get a return back. That's something that I've always experienced. That's not why we give to get something back, but it does make for a nice bonus incentive. knowing that your needs will be met as well. If this happened to us, we'd all be incredibly grateful to anyone who helped us out. And that's about it. I just wanted to talk about it a little bit because the news keeps coming out of there and it continues to not be good. This is incredibly serious and the people there really need our help. I will link a couple of the crowdfunding campaigns in the description. Again, I'm not running the campaigns. I have to trust that when they say that the funds are going to the families and victims of East Palestine, that that's where it's going. So I will put their links in the description, and I'll see you soon. Take care.